All right, guys, we are coming to you with the third annual Acre Awards. I'm so excited to unpack some end of year recap, looking into 2026. This is going to be a really fun episode. The Modern Acre is presented by Corteva R&D, the research and development engine of Corteva Agriscience. Corteva is a global pure-play agriculture company that combines industry-leading innovation and high-touch customer engagement to deliver solutions for the world's most pressing agriculture challenges. All right, Tim, we're back. We made it. It's been a heck of a year. We're going to get into a lot of it, and I am so happy to finally be doing the Acre Awards. Man, it seems like just yesterday we were doing the 2024 Acre Awards.
I know, it's crazy how quick this year has gone. We've been busy with so many different balls in the air. I was like re-listening to the episode and feels like not that long ago, and here we are on the mic again talking about the Acre Awards.
It's the Dundies for the Modern Acre. So Tim and I really like the categories we chose are really, I think, hopefully interesting for our listeners. They're definitely interesting for us digging into each one of these. So Tim, I think we should go ahead and jump right in. I think there's going to be a lot to discuss here.
Totally, Ty. So I'll tee it up to you for the first category of the year. Who's your favorite guest or podcast episode of the year?
Yeah, this is fun. I think we had a great year of podcast guests and episodes and interesting topics. A lot come to mind, but I got to take the obvious pick, Tim. Our 400th episode we did this year with Justin Mares. And I think it's just cool to talk to someone who, it's not like your traditional, ag tech founder or CPG founder. I think he's just been pretty non-traditional and unconventional about how he thinks about business. And I think a lot of it is how I think about business in a lot of ways, of starting Kettle on Fire and now doing TrueMed, and just his interest in health and wellness, fitness, agriculture, regenerative agriculture. It's just cool to, he's someone we followed for a long time, and to get him on the podcast for episode 400, it was pretty awesome. And I think just inspiring, like talking to Justin, hearing what he's into gets me inspired about all the stuff that we are working on, Tim, and kind of our ambition. And I just like that he is kind of all over the place. And sometimes I feel like that. He has a newsletter, forget the name of it, but we can link it in the show notes. And it's like totally like random. Like I feel like his newsletter, I think a lot of people are like, do a newsletter and like it has to be, the niche thing and like one thing. What are you providing to your readers? And his is just like, this is what I'm into right now. Like this is what I'm researching. It could be health, wellness, fitness, random. It's a little bit all over the place, but I kind of dig that. So it was great to finally get to meet and spend some time with Justin on that podcast.
Great pick, Ty. I should have gone first because if you look at my notes that I'm showing you right now, I also picked Justin Mares as my favorite episode. Everything that you said, just double clicking on all of that. I think Justin's super interesting because he covers a lot of different areas, the health and wellness, the agriculture, farm production. And I think getting really smart people interested in agriculture is going to be a benefit to the industry. And the fact that he's willing to roll up his sleeves and solve supply chain issues and really connect with, regenerative agriculture producers like he built up with Kettle and Fire, I think is super interesting. And I like that his content is varying. It's not like he's not a one trick pony where it's the same thing over and over again. It's yeah, this is what I'm into. It's okay to change your mind on things and go into a lot of different areas. And he builds a lot of different things, and we like building a lot of different things. So just a really fun one.
You'll hear different people have different opinions on, should you focus on one thing? Should you go all in on one thing, or should you, diversify, right? Like there's this idea of having a holding company and multiple different businesses. I don't think there's a right answer, but for me and for us, I feel like we always just have a ton on our mind and see opportunities in different spaces. And just, I think it's intellectually stimulating to be able to work on different things and different projects. I think we've experienced this year, Tim, where it's like you have ups and downs as an entrepreneur, and some days for some things you're working on are really, really great. And some days are really hard for whatever you're just seeing headwinds and challenges in the business and a business, and having other things to kind of redirect you, I think is valuable, because it's I can go, I'm never going to get so low because I have multiple balls happening, and I have to, it's one, I don't have time to really sulk, and two, there's other exciting things to kind of take my time and attention as well. So I think it's kind of, and it's cool. I think Justin kind of thinks similarly.
Totally. There was that book a few years back called Range, which is about like being like a generalist versus a specialist. And I think, yeah, like plays on a lot of what you were just talking about, which is cool.
And I think, Tim, it's funny that you picked Justin too. I mean, I think that's something that we can probably lean into 2026. How do we get more, I think, unique thinkers on the podcast, people that are doing different things and thinking differently about building businesses, thinking differently about agriculture, I think is really, really beneficial. And I think it's this fine line and this balance of people that come into ag and like raise a ton of money to, completely disrupt the industry, and they've, completely outside of the industry, like that sometimes I think rubs me the wrong way of, people are over idealistic about how they can, disrupt and improve agriculture. But I think there is also something to be said for people that are bringing different unique perspectives into agriculture and kind of having a first principles approach. What's cool about Justin is he's actually built a business, bootstrapped a business, and built it to a pretty substantial business in kettle and fire. So he has the operational chops where you kind of have a bit more credibility than just coming in and, raising a $20 million Series A and having never done anything in agriculture, right? So I think it's really interesting to digest that. All right, Tim, the next category we're going to get into is a business we'd invest $10,000 in. So this is kind of an arbitrary number, but it's the idea of if you were looking to invest in a business in agriculture, where would you place that bet?
Ty, the company I picked is a little bit different. It's The Reservoir. I don't know if you've been following Danny Bernstein. He's just been prolific this year of basically spinning up kind of the first on-farm incubator accelerator. I think it's really interesting what he's doing. Like we've had him on the podcast previously, and now he's actually like breaking ground, and they're actually starting to do things and sign up companies. I don't know where that investment would fall, but I think it's a really exciting thing that they're doing. They're making a lot of waves, and I think like bringing the industry together, I think that has been significantly lacking, where it's all these companies building in silos and actually taking a kind of a strategic, thoughtful approach to bring everyone together and kind of find areas that a 1 + 1 = 3 type scenario. So I think that'd be a cool place to hang your hat. Like they're looking at a lot of new emerging companies coming into California. They have their first farm in the Salinas Valley in California. They just announced one in Sonoma County in kind of wine grape country, and they're going to be doing a third location in the Central Valley, focusing on tree nuts. So it's been cool to see what they've been up to this year.
Yeah, there's a lot to say there. I think that speaking of someone who's from outside of ag, Danny kind of made his career in Silicon Valley and became really passionate about sustainability and food systems and the impact he could make within agriculture. And they have just been prolific this year. I think they've been very aggressive in pursuing partnerships and building this really important brand in the ecosystem. And I totally agree with you.
All right. Who do you got for the company that you'd invest in this year?
I think something that I've thought a lot about, Tim, is businesses that have unique business models. And I think specifically in agriculture, I find this fascinating because ag tech companies, for the most part, are selling to farmers. And I think that's just a really tough business model, and a very tough business model when it's a down farm economy, right? Like right now, where farmers only going to invest so much in technology and capital improvements. And so I think companies that have unique business models that capture value in a unique, novel way, I'm really passionate about. It's something that we're doing at Polaris and trying to build out. One company that is doing that in the biological space is New Leaf. And I think that would be my pick for a business I'd invest in. They provide proprietary technology to biological companies. Tim, we've talked about this a lot on the podcast. We've had Brent Smith on the podcast as well. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of biological companies. And they're all trying to figure out how to differentiate themselves, how to make their products stand out. New Leaf has kind of taken this different approach of, hey, we're going to be the Intel chip inside, right? We're going to be this technology layer inside and can work with a lot of different biological companies. And I think that business model is really cool. So I like those types of business models. So that's my pick.
Great pick, Ty.
All right, Tim. Our next category is our Ag Person of the Year. Who is your pick, Tim? It's a very
prestigious. This is a
very prestigious, exactly.
Ty, I'm going to go with Devin from Lumo. Been loving what Lumo's been up to the past year or so. We've had Devin on the podcast before. I just love his focus as a founder, just really kind of focusing on dominating a specific market before you scale up. So just like how he thinks about business, he's been on other ag podcasts and just really love what he's love what he's built with Lumo. Also his thoughts about just kind of like using AI within the organization, of really like challenging his employees to use AI to make their company more powerful, more efficient. So that's been really cool. We've had a little bit of a direct relationship with him on the Polaris front as we're talking about ways we can partner together. So just kind of seeing him just from a B2B standpoint, he's just a great operator, super professional, and another one of those folks, Ty, that like comes from outside the industry and is really like learning and taking a really humble approach. So just love his attitude and really how he thinks about business. So giving him the Ag Person of the Year.
Wow. So he won Ag Sharks at the Western Growers event, and you gave him the Ag Person of the Year. Man,
huge year, Devin. Huge year.
Has Devin peaked?
Like 2025?
This is the peak.
Peak Devin?
Peak Devin. Oh my goodness. No, I love the pick. I'm totally behind the pick. And yeah, I echo everything you shared. Great pick, Tim.
All right, Ty, who do you have for Ag Person of the Year?
As we have stated, prestigious award here. My Ag Person of the Year is you.
What?
Tim Nuss, Ag Person of the Year 2025.
I did it.
You did it, finally.
It took me 3 years.
It only took you 3 years, but I think that's actually one of the reasons, Tim, why you have won this award. You now have 3 years under your belt on the farm, and you've seen some ups, you've seen some downs. Last year, I re-listened to the Acre Insights from last year, and you talked about just dealing with the stress of all the complexity that happens on the farm and the uncertainties that happen on a daily basis. And it's just been really cool to see you, I think, excel on the farm, supporting Dad, supporting Derek, who are doing a lot of the hard work. But you, I think, have really stepped in and allowed the farm to be really successful the past few years. So I think the Ag Person of the Year, I'm not the only person who thinks this, Tim. I am not the only person, and I have a proud brother moment here. Tim has been awarded by Farm Journal, yes, that Farm Journal, the Next Gen Top Producer of the Year, which is, can we just quick clap for that? That is super exciting. You got this crazy award, Tim. I remember you like texted me or called me about it. I was like, what? This is incredible. So I'm not the only person, independent, unbiased people validate my pick for you as the Ag Person of the Year. So congratulations.
Thanks, Ty. I mean, it was definitely a team award of like everything you and I have been building, and like couldn't do it without Dad or Dare. So it's definitely a family award to be given the award, which is really cool. But it's all about kind of like innovative people that are building within agriculture, like on top of the farm. So it was acknowledging kind of the work that we've done with the podcast for the past 8 years, and AgList over the past year, and Polaris over the past year. So it was kind of really exciting to get offered the award, and it's going to basically coincide with the Top Producer Summit. It's a business conference that happens in Nashville coming up in February. So Jen and I are coming out for that trade show, and they're doing like an awards dinner. So it'll be pretty cool. So I'll definitely cite you in my acceptance speech, Ty.
Appreciate that. But no, I think it's super exciting, super well deserved. And yeah, I think it's a reflection of what we've built with the podcast and just the hard work we've done with the farm. It's cool to see that recognition, Tim, and totally deserved. Do I get like assistant to the Top Producer of the Year?
Yeah. Depending on what the award looks like, can we like saw it in half so we each get a piece of it?
No.
I'm going to make this right, Ty. Don't worry.
Okay, cool. We'll figure it out on the back end. All right. Congratulations, Ag Person of the Year, Tim. Man, pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, which is more exciting, me choosing you for Ag Person of the Year or the Farm Journal Award?
Both unique in their own ways, Ty.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, next category, Tim. Our favorite business person. So this is maybe outside industry agnostic, the most interesting business follow.
So Ty, the person that I had was Zach Dell with Base Power. As you know, I've been getting more involved, interested in what's happening kind of in the energy space with Polaris. Like I've just been consuming a lot more like energy related, just podcasts and newsletters and following people in the space. And Zach Dell's just had a crazy breakout year with Base Power. They're doing distributed power batteries at homes, focusing on Texas to start, where there's, a deregulated market where they can go in and go to a consumer's house and basically put in a battery where they're basically the own utility, and the consumer no longer is tied to a utility. Like Base Power is their actual utility provider. So it's a super unique model that hasn't been done before. They've raised a ton of money this year. They just raised $1 billion on their latest round. So just a massive, massive business and opportunity. And I think what's cool about it is, it's like this totally new business model. Like you were talking about, unique, innovative business models that really hasn't been done before. It's obviously like a very CapEx infrastructure heavy business. When you're building, deploying batteries, like there's a lot of, boots on the ground and challenges to that kind of a business, but it's been really cool to see what he's been up to. He was on Invest Like the Best earlier this year, just talking about the business and background and strategy. So that was kind of the big unique business follow of the year for me. What about you, Ty?
This is upsetting. That was my pick as well. I feel like we should have collaborated in advance. We wanted this to be a surprise, but clearly same wavelengths. So yeah, I'll just echo this, but I also have a little honorary mention. But yeah, no, Zach is doing some really interesting things in the energy space. We've been following Base Power quite closely, and they've had quite a crazy run in 2025. I feel like no one knew Base Power entering 2025, and now a lot of people know Base Power, and they raised $1 billion to go scale this distributed battery model. So really, really interesting. And I think what Zach does really well on that Invest Like the Best podcast is talking about what's happening with the grid, the dynamics of the grid today because of AI and electrification and onshoring of manufacturing. The grid is just not able to support the load growth that we're experiencing, which is really growth that we haven't experienced in decades. And so utilities need solutions to figure out how to support that demand. And so, having flexible battery capacity is one way to do it. And I think they're taking a really interesting model, something that we're following closely, obviously, at Polaris. So good pick, Tim. I was going to pick, we had a slightly different pick. My pick was the Dells. So it was a 2-for-1 because Zach is actually Michael Dell's son. So Michael Dell of Dell Computers. And Michael has done a few podcasts this year, and I think I feel like he's the the boring entrepreneur that kind of gets forgotten after Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. It's like Michael Dell is that other guy that has that weird Dell computer thing. Dell Computers is a behemoth. Like, I think people forget what a massive business it is. And just hearing him talk, and, he kind of did his own thing, and he stayed in his own lane, and he said, hey, I'm going to optimize for cost. I'm going to optimize for supply chain efficiency, and I'm going to have a different business model than Apple. And I just really respect companies and entrepreneurs and founders that recognize their own strength, their own lane. They don't have to be all things to all people. And yeah, it's like coolest and sexiest to be Apple, right? But Dell is this insane business, and it's also admirable because Dell has brought low cost computing to the masses, right? It's a much more accessible price point. They serve B2B. That's their biggest business is B2B. So corporates, when they're buying all their compute, is often with Dell. So it's, I think, really cool father-son pairing of hearing from them both. So we'll definitely link some podcasts that they were both on this year. So great picks, Tim. Just the Dells. We love family entrepreneurship. So
good pick, Ty. I think another thing about Michael Dell just seems like an all-around good person, good family, in the age of a lot of the mega entrepreneurs of buying yachts and trying to go to space and all this stuff. It just seems like he has a really close, coordinate family, really good kids, wife that he's been with a long time. They do a lot of philanthropy. So just all around good people, it seems like.
Thanks for calling that out. I totally agree with you. I think that's a really cool component as well. All right, Tim, we got to wrap up part one here. Let's wrap this up. Two more topics. The craziest person we're following.
This is kind of a tough one, Ty, but I've got kind of a fringe character that's been making me smile when I see his posts. There's a guy named Jack Rains who works for Slow Ventures, which is a generalist venture capital group. They've invested in Solano, Gusto, like they're a big, generalist VC firm. Jack is like, says he's a personality hire because he's just like a funny personality. But like if you follow him on LinkedIn or Twitter, it's just quite hilarious of just kind of like random one-liners, and just cool that he's like kind of leaning into that, where he's like, he works for, high profile VC, but he's like willing to show his like true character, and has like a newsletter, I think, called Young Money, and does a lot of funny stuff. So he's been an interesting follow this year just on current events and news, where he'll just throw in like random one-liners or comment on it that I find pretty funny.
That's an amazing pick. He's been a fantastic follow on LinkedIn. And I just feel like there's an opportunity on LinkedIn right now. And I think he's taking advantage of it. Of like, LinkedIn is so stuffy. And it's like, today I'm excited to announce my new, like, it's always like these announcements. And it's always just kind of like everyone putting their chest up and my new role. And it's very stuffy. It's very boring. And I think that he has been like, no, I'm going to go a completely different direction. I'm going to go like full sarcastic. And I think like probably a lot of people are like so confused of like, what is it? What? Like they take him seriously, but all his posts are just memes, right? Like he's just messing with everyone, and they are so good and like so spot on. I think he's putting on a masterclass for LinkedIn posting right now.
Totally. And they did this event in San Francisco like a couple months back called Etiquette School. Did you see this? So it's like him and some other partners from Slow, basically like they're like the Bay Area is like everybody's walking around in sweatpants and hoodies, and it's just like totally unprofessional. Like we need to like class up the joint. And so we basically did this kind of like small invite only thing where it was like, we're going to teach you people some manners. And so it was like you had to dress in very like formal attire. They like taught you how to do like eat caviar and like all these kind of like high class things. It was like pretty funny, just like like throwing that in there, and like it went viral on LinkedIn because people were like throwing this like, I passed the like etiquette course for Slow Ventures. They were putting it as an award on their LinkedIn profiles, and was just like getting virality there. So just like doing something like different and totally like something outside the box, I think was really cool.
Oh my gosh, so good. There's so much there. I feel like we've talked about it after seeing the etiquette school. We're like, what is that for ag? We've got to do something like this because I think it's probably like how to ride a tractor or like something like that we've got to put on.
Tractor school. That'd be good. Get a bunch of ag tech, get a bunch of ag tech CEOs and see you can drive a tractor.
Seriously. I love it. All right. Great idea on the spot. All right, Tim, the craziest person I'm following, that was such a good pick. I'm glad I didn't choose it because that would we're making things not interesting for people. But my pick is Alex Hormozy. He is just crazy. I don't know what to say. Like, I just feel like he is so prolific. He's got just this machine of content online, and he's posting all day, every day. He launched his latest book, $100 million money models or something like that, and literally made the book launch like $100 million book launch. And it's like one of the highest grossing books of all time, like initial sales numbers or something like that. And he is just insane. It's kind of exhausting watching him because I'm like, man, I just need to like, how do I actually like have some concrete takeaways for this? Because it's like so much all the time, fast paced. So yeah, he's probably the craziest person. But if you are able to like distill some of them, like some of those money model topics are like really, really good stuff. Like I feel like it's not just smoke with him. Like I think there's actually some like very legit business concepts behind it, but he's so crazy in the volume of content that he puts out. So that's my pick.
That's a super good pick. I was thinking about him as well. He's one of those like Jesse Itzler types where he's just like has all these different things going on. He's just prolific, and he's been around for a while. So it's not like he just like came up this year, but he's just like keeps putting out content and it's still good. And like he's still doing a lot of interesting creative things. And he's like known for his like gym business, and he's like kind of like bro type personality, but he's actually a lot deeper than that, which is kind of cool.
Totally. All right, Tim, your favorite content of the year?
kind of spoke to you a little bit on the Zach Dell pick, but like I've just been following a lot more like energy related podcast newsletters. So there was like two that kind of like I was looking at my podcast feed of like what's kind of net new this year that I'm like consuming on a more regular basis. And Catalyst is an energy podcast that I think is put out by Energy Impact Partners, and this one called DER Task Forces, which is about distributed energy resources. So just trying to like learn a new industry has been really fun, Ty, of just like, you know, coming from the total ag focus, and now with Polaris, like putting on more of an energy lens into what we're doing. It's been a good way to kind of educate myself on just kind of the different business opportunities that are out there, the lay of the land, and kind of what the trends and opportunities are. So there's been kind of the two net new ones that I've been filtering in with the ag podcast, the business podcast, and the sports podcast.
All right, my pick, Tim, as you know, I've been off Twitter, I don't know how long, a year and a half. It's been a long time. So I'm pretty much off social other than YouTube. So I've kind of gotten into the YouTube game this year more, and I have a newborn, and there's a lot of time to to YouTube and chill with bottle feedings and everything. So I've really gotten into this year YouTube golf. It's such a crazy world of like, I don't think people understand that YouTube golf currently is bigger than like traditional golf media, right? Like by orders of like by massive margin, people are watching these YouTube creators. Bryson DeChambeau, he's obviously a professional, but there's a lot of non-professionals that have YouTube channels that people watch, and it has millions and millions of views. So the person I've been following the closest, he is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, is Grant Horvat. And he's just awesome. Like, I love watching his stuff. He golfs he'll bring on celebrities or pro golfers or other YouTube golfers, and they just do fun, different matches. And it's just great to watch. It's like way more compelling than just watching a boring PGA Tour event. Like, I love watching the majors for sure, but the other PGA Tour events, I'm like, whatever. Even Live Golf, I'm like, whatever. But watching these like YouTube golf content has just been, I think, really, really fun to watch. And it's been a nice like reprieve from the real world of it's my chance to escape and just watch some sports. So that's been my content of the year, Grant Horvat. Check him out.
Nice. I'll check that out. I'm not a YouTube guy, Ty. I consume very little video content, surprisingly. I'm just like a big audio guy.
Big audio guy.
Big audio guy.
All right, that's part one. We'll bring it back with part two.